Hello friends, welcome to the part 4th of congestive heart failure or heart failure. So in part 4th of congestive heart failure, we are going to discuss the surgical and nursing management. So first surgery is coronary angioplasty. Okay. So if suppose this is our coronary artery and if there is blockage in the coronary artery due to the plaque formation or atherosclerosis formation, okay, so in this coronary artery there is a blockage. So what will happen, the blood will not able to flow properly. So the surgeon or doctor will place a flexible guide wire into this coronary artery through the femoral vein. Okay, so through the femoral vein a flexible guide wire is inserted, a flexible catheter is inserted. Into the tip of this catheter a balloon is placed. So when this balloon is inflated, then what will happen, the plaque will get depressed, the plaque will get pressed to the walls of this coronary artery. Okay, when we will inflate this balloon, then this plaque will get stick or this plaque will get deposited to the side of this coronary artery or it gets sided. Okay, and in this balloon angioplasty, one more thing the surgeon will do, they can also place a stent. Stent means a mesh like, a wire mesh like structure. So at the tip of this balloon a wire mesh structure is also placed. So again when the balloon is inflated, this mesh like structure will remain in the coronary artery and the balloon is deflated back. So it is also known as PTCA, means percutaneous transluminal coronary angioplasty. Next surgery, coronary artery bypass surgery. As the name suggests, bypass means we are rerouting the pathway of blood. Okay, we are changing the pathway of blood. Suppose this is our 4 chambers of our heart and this coronary artery is supplying blood to this chamber of our heart. And if there is blockage in this coronary artery, then what will happen, the blood will not able to flow from this path, okay, from this path of coronary artery. Then the surgeon will place another coronary artery at this region. So this artery or vein is taken from the patient's own body, like saphenous vein from the legs of the patient or internal thoracic artery vein from the chest region of the patient. So this is also called grafting process, means the patient own saphenous vein is taken and it is attached to the blocked area. One portion of this arterial vein is attached in the front of this blocked area and other portion is attached to the aorta region. So we have changed the pathway of the blood supply. Next surgery, heart valve repair or replacement surgery. So we all know that there are 4 valves in the heart: aortic valve, pulmonary valve, mitral valve. Okay, so these are the valve of our heart and the function of the valve is to flow the blood in one direction. Okay, if there is narrowness or stiffness in the valve of the patient, then the surgeon will try to repair that valve. And if the repairing process is not able to done, if the repairing is not possible, then they will replace the valve completely. Okay, the surgeon will replace the valve completely. Next we have implantable cardioverter defibrillator. The name is suggesting implantable, means a device which is implanted into the chest of the patient, which is attached to the chest of the patient. So it is a matchbox like structure which supply electrical current to the patient's heart. Okay, in this defibrillator machine it records the heart rhythm, means is the heart working in a proper way, is there any arrhythmia condition forming in the heart or not. So it is a electrical device which gives an electrical signal to the heart when it is not working properly, when there is arrhythmia condition or irregular heartbeat, then this device will supply electric shock and that electric shock is also known as defibrillation. Okay, so this device is attached to the patient's own chest and it records the electrical activity of the heart. Next we have ventricular assist device. So ventricles are the main pumping chamber of our heart. So we all know that right ventricle supply blood to the lungs for the oxygenation and the left ventricle pumps out blood into our whole body. If these ventricles are not working properly, then we will attach the ventricular assist device to the patient's body. Okay, if both ventricles are not working, if both ventricles are not pumping out the blood sufficiently, then we will attach the biventricular assist device. Next we have pacemaker. Pacemaker again It's an electronic device. It supplies electrical signals to the heart. Okay, mainly pacemaker is attached when the heart is not beating properly, when there is bradycardia condition, there is slow heart rate, then we will attach the pacemaker. It will generate out a electrical current to the SA node, okay, sinoatrial node, and helps in the beating process of the heart, in the pumping action of the heart. Sometimes these two surgeries are done together. Okay, next, at the last, we have heart transplantation. So it is the last surgery when all the medical and these surgeries are not working, then we do heart transplantation. So it is not so easy process. It's a very tough process. Okay. So in this heart transplantation, we need a donor heart. Okay. And again the patient goes through various types of process, like all the blood and investigation process the patient will go through, and all the measurement of the body is taken, and there is a long duration when we get other heart, okay, when we get donor heart. So it is a large surgical process. Next, we have nursing management of congestive heart failure. So as a nurse, what management you can do for the patient? First, there is assessment and monitoring. This is the most important step for the assessment of the patient. We have to assess the patient from head to the toe region. Means we have to assess all the vital signs of the patient, like BP, pulse, temperature on the regular basis, and we have to assess the weight of the patient daily. And in monitoring process, you can assess for the any exhaustion or any difficult breathing the patient is feeling, any fatigue the patient is feeling, and what is his intake and output. Means how much water he is taking and what is his output during excretion. Next, we have medication management. So whatever medication the physician have prescribed, like ACE inhibitors, vasodilators, beta blockers, diuretics, we have to give that medicine on a regular time basis so that we can minimize the symptoms of congestive heart failure. Next, we have fluid and sodium restriction. It's very important as the already patient is going in the congestion phase. Okay, there is a congestion in his lungs and in his whole body. Means the patient is suffering from the edema condition. So we have to restrict the water and sodium level. Next, we have oxygen therapy. If the patient is feeling exhaustion on breathing or patient is feeling difficulty in breathing, then you can provide the supplemental oxygen to the patient. Okay. Next, we have prevent complication. It's very important. We have to assess for the complications of the heart failure. Okay, like means pulmonary, if there is pulmonary edema or pulmonary embolism is there, or renal disease is there. Okay, we have to assess all the arrhythmia conditions of the patient. Next, we have scheduling regular follow-up. A regular follow-up is very important for the checkup of the patient heart condition. Means on the regular basis, we have to assess the body of the patient, how much the patient have improved. Next, we have provide comfort and psychological support is very important. Provide peaceful, calmful environment to the patient. There is a dim light in the room of the patient. The environment should be calm and quiet, and mentally you can support the patient by giving psychological support. Next, we have disease information and preventive education. You can give the patient education about his health condition, what are the measurements that he can take for the improvement of his lifestyle. Means lifestyle modification you can give to the patient and his family too, that he have to quit smoking and alcohol, and improve his daily life activity for healthy heart, and healthy heart diet he should take. Next, we have activity and rest. It is very important. A minimal activity which the patient can tolerate, you have to assess for that. Means you can encourage the patient for little bit activity as much as he can tolerate, like a little bit exercise of hands, little bit exercise of legs, you can assess. And in between the exercise, we have to provide rest to the patient. Thank you.